Our next presenter is the owner-operator of PT Reptiles PA, also known as named after his sons, my best sons, Peter and Taylor. PT Reptiles PA, no further ado, how about some live animals on gift? First time for that. Peter Rushton, there you go.
Thank you, everybody. And a special thanks goes out to Julie and her team for allowing me to present on here. Morning, Julie, and happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. And let me just say, I am so excited to see some kind of spider or snake from far this time. So I feel safe now.
Okay. Well, I know time is limited, so I'll get right into it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself first. Number one, I'm very old now, so I do not like change. I grew up in London, England, out by Heathrow Airport, which has changed dramatically over the last many, many years. I came to the United States in January 1989. Have two wonderful sons and an absolutely incredible wife, Sherilyn. PT Reptiles was really, and I have to give the credit to my wife, Sherilyn, her brainchild. I was back in the corporate world in sales and marketing for many years, which I was relatively successful at. I enjoyed it, but I was never a yes man. So consequently, they let me go. I believe it was the end of 2001. And Sherilyn said to me, why don't you go teach children? So I sort of put my hands up. Okay, how do I do that? So from there, we had to come up with a business plan. And the business plan was to teach children from basically 2 years old up through 8th grade. Sorry, you high schoolers, you guys have your interests. And if I can't keep them, it gets a little rowdy. So 2 through 8th grade is my preference in groups, but I do all ages. PT Reptiles is a hands-on educational program with live reptiles, i.e. alligators, snakes, lizards, frogs, toads, turtles, and as Julie alluded, we sometimes have some spiders and other critters with us. So the virtual programs for me is very, very foreign. I absolutely pushed it away with greatness initially. But with the help of Julie and my wonderful wife, Sherilyn, I got the courage to come out and do these virtual programs. It's kind of not what I do. That's what I tell people. It's not what I do, but it's a way I can do it. So PT Reptiles has to evolve, and every business has to evolve with the times. Just like the young students, we're talking about the evolution of education now. And I think with the young student panel you guys just had on, it's one of those things where we get the best ideas from the ones that need it. The young ones, I believe, are more creative than adults. I think their brains are just not limited anymore. Like I said, I don't like change. I don't like things to change. So we have to continually think about the evolution of what we're doing, whether it's just living or whether it's a business, whether it's education, whatever it may be. And obviously GIFT, which I'm a part of now, and thank you, Julie, is a huge evolution. This is global. It goes around the world and it's live. There's no pause. There's no waiting for anything. It's immediate and it's now. So it's just kind of incredible. That being said, that's kind of a little overview of what I do, who I am, etc. And I'm always open to questions and things like that. You can reach me many different ways. And I'm sure if you go through Julie and her group, her team, they can get to me whatever way. Now, I am going to show you just a few of my critters, the ones that have been, I call them my old faithfuls. The first one I'm going to pull out, this little guy, he's been with me now, coming up 24 years, this little guy. This guy is my mainstay. This little guy is a ball python from Central West Africa. He is going to be 24 this year, so he's very dear to my heart now. We have a great relationship. The ball python comes from Central West Africa. It's the most popular python kept as a pet now, because these guys come in so many different colors and patterns. And again, that's a part of the evolution of my business. I can now teach about genetics. Who would have thought teaching about animals and then taking it a huge step further into genetics, codominant and recessive genetics. Now this little guy, he would just hang out. He is just super sweet. People don't realize that there are about 60 different pythons in the world, and most of them are very small like this. They're very tiny. There are a couple of giants. There are actually 5 giant snakes in the world. We have the African rock python, the reticulated python, the Indian python, the Burmese python, and the green anaconda. They're the true giants of the world. These little guys, this is as big as he's going to get. He's not going to get any bigger. He may grow ½ an inch in the next 10 years, if that. Snakes do continue to grow their whole life, but the majority is in their first part of their life. They do not have fangs. They're obviously not venomous, but inside his mouth, he has about 100 needle sharp teeth that all curve backwards. So anytime these things grab something, the teeth grab, and if their prey pulls away, the teeth actually go in deeper. So they actually get a very good grip. Super, super sweet snakes. I mentioned they come in different colors and patterns. So I'm actually going to get another one out. So I'm just going to go off screen for a couple of seconds. 1 second. Okay, now we have another colored one here. This little girl, she's about 7 or 8 years old now. She is a ball python. She carries 2 recessive genetics. And she is called a caramel albino ghost. Just a sweet, sweet girl. But working with these animals and breeding reptiles for the last somewhat 20 years now, I've found out that caramel albino females are all sterile, which is very, very interesting. She cannot produce, she cannot reproduce. The males can reproduce very nicely, but not the females. If anybody does have questions, you know, feel free to speak up or type them in, however that may work, Julie. I don't know how you've got that set up. I'm going to put these 2 away and find a couple more out. Okay, there's 1, there's 2. Okay, now, these guys are always one of the favorites. This little guy right now is an American alligator. It's a tiny little baby, just a few months old. They've kind of been near to my heart from working with them over the years. This guy's probably maybe 9 inches long now, and these guys can grow up to 15 feet long. And it will take him a number of years to get there, but he will grow on average anywhere from 6 inches to 1 foot a year for probably the next 10 years. And then he will continue to grow. But as you can see, they're just a sweet little creature. They rarely bite, especially at this age. And as they get older, they actually become very handleable if they're worked with on a daily basis. There are many, many restrictions in keeping these around the United States now. So if you want one, you'd certainly have to know all your laws. If we can, I'm going to be very quiet and we'll see if we can get him to do a little sound. Can you hear that, Julie?
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
It's kind of cute. It is actually his call for his mother. And he will actually continue to do that for about the first year or so of his life. In the wild, the American alligator stays with its mother for about a year, from when they're hatched to the following spring. Then the mother will drive them away and she will have another clutch of eggs. Problem is, these little guys get eaten by everything. They're not very big and they're kind of tasty morsels for many things, including fish and birds. So these little guys get eaten a lot. They do cover a fairly wide range in the US. They're actually in as many as 10 different states. They're in Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, and in the bottom corners of Oklahoma and Arkansas, which most people don't realize, but it is just the bottom corners where they meet Texas. Okay. The American alligator, a killer. Number one, A1 predator. Okay, there he goes. Now, let's see what else we can find here. Let's see. Oh, these are always a favorite. These are just the coolest little creatures. The Russian tortoise. This is an adult Russian tortoise. This is as big as the little guy gets. I've had this guy about 17 years. When this little guy was donated to me, he was this size. Most people don't realize the big giant land tortoises you see out there all live by the equator. The three largest ones, the Galapagos tortoise, the sulcata or African spur thigh, and the Aldabra tortoise all live right along the equator. The Russian tortoise hibernates for more than 6 months of the year. Consequently, they don't eat or drink, so they don't grow. Obviously, on the equator, food is readily available 24/7 for them every single day of the year. So they just continually grow and grow and grow. I advise people if they want a turtle as a pet, please take a look at the Russian tortoise first. Turtles are beautiful and wonderful, but they're much higher maintenance. Lots of changing of water. The water gets very smelly. So little guys are awesome. Okay. Okay. Now let's find another one. Let's see here. One more shot off screen. Oh, here we go. There.
That's a heavy one, I think.
I think so too. Come on out, Shelby.
I have a picture of my daughter at one of your birthday parties, Peter, holding it was M&M.
Oh, wow. That's
adult. It was an adult alligator, yes?
Not quite, but he was big. He got big.
I think we decided that she weighed about 2 pounds less than the animal, and she was bent over almost in a back bend holding
Yep, yeah. They're great. I usually work with them up until they're probably 5 or 6 feet in length. And then because the number one rule I live by when I do my programs is safety. If I personally cannot overpower the animal, I will not take it out. It's really that simple. Safety, safety, safety. This little one, this is Shelby. Shelby is an African spur thigh. Shelby will be 18 years old this year. Shelby weighs about 35 pounds now, so very, very big. But these guys can reach 110 pounds. So Shelby at 17 or 18 years old is kind of small still and will continue to grow. Just an absolutely beautiful creature. On her legs here, what you will see is some really sharp spikes. Those are actually called osteoderms. The osteoderms are exactly the same things the dinosaurs had to protect them. The bony plates they had on their backs and things. She will put her head in, she will bring her legs up in front of her face. So her predators bite down on bone and not flesh. So they're actually for her protection. Many years ago, people believed that, I know, I hear you. Believe that you could tell their age by the rings on their shells. They are growth rings, but the thing is, tortoises and turtles have multiple growth rings a year, depending on how much food is available to them. Shelby right now has well over 40 or 50 different growth rings on there, but we know she was born in 2003. And again, she was donated to me by a young lady that actually went to school with my son, Peter. So we know her age. She's just a beautiful, beautiful creature.
Peter, how old can Shelby get?
How old? Scientists believe that these guys can live more than 200 years. So consequently, you know, because we do not have, or we've not had the technology to actually read that, you know, it makes sense. These guys take a long time to get big. So she's going to be around for a long time after I'm long gone. Good to hear, but, you know, good for Shelby, not so good for me. So my son, Peter, will probably get this one in many, many years to come. Okay, let me find another creature out, because these are kind of fun for me. Okay, now I'm going to stand back a little bit. This one's a little bit bigger. This is Peaches. Peaches is an albino Burmese python. These are one of the 5 giants of the world. Peaches is a boy or a male. He will not get as big as the girls, which is very fortunate. It means I can use him for longer. Peaches is now, he'll be 3 this year. He's about 8 or 9 feet long at 3 years old. When he was born, he was between 15 and 18 inches long, probably about as fat as my finger. So in a very short period of time, he's grown very quickly. Albinos do not usually survive in the wild. They cannot blend in or camouflage. These are called gentle giants. They're one of the snakes that will actually become very easily dealt with, worked with, things like that. These guys can lay a lot of eggs. The record for the most amount of eggs a python has laid actually goes to the Burmese python. It's over 100 eggs. The eggs are about the size of a goose egg. So if you can imagine 100 of those coming out of one single snake, big, big, big eggs. And 100 of these little guys going. Just absolutely beautiful creatures. Okay. I think you need one of these, Julie. What do you think?
I think I have a basement full of those already, Peter. Thank you very much.
Not Burmese pythons.
No, not Burmese. Peter and my husband are friends, and over the years, my husband has now taken on some snakes too. Not the collection like Peter has, though.
Yeah, no, Burmese pythons are sweet. My largest one of these, I actually have a female that's about 15 feet now, and she's kind of a handful when she comes out, but she is friendly. She's just big to deal with. Good morning, Max. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. You like these guys? We'll give him a little close up there, right in there. He's very friendly. He's super, super friendly. All right, let's find another critter out. Let's put Peaches away. In you go, Peaches. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. This one's for you, Max. I understand you like these guys. What do you think? Whoa, he came straight at the screen there. Came straight at the screen. This is a white tree frog. He comes from Australia and Indonesia. I like to work with the amphibians a little bit because there's such a beautiful collection of animals. The problem is they're so sensitive. These little guys, if you have any chemicals on your hands, it will actually kill them. In the summertime, I cannot use them. Sunscreen is very, very toxic to these guys. So I don't use them in the summertime. So these little guys are awesome. What do you think, Max? You like that one?
He has a little spine.
He's what?
He has a little spine.
A little spine.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a reflection.
Oh, might be a reflection down here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's an interesting color. It's kind of like a pale olivey look.
Yeah, kind of olive. These guys in the wild naturally come in greens through to the browns and even a blue color in Australia. They're a pale blue color in Australia. What's very interesting, all of these animals I've shown today are bred in captivity very, very well today. I do try to teach the younger generation of the world, please don't take the animals from outside. If you would like something, do your research and you'll find an area where people actually breed these guys in captivity. I think he's going to jump again in a second. Maybe he likes you, Max. That's what it is. He can see you on the screen. Okay, let's put this little guy back. There you go. In you go, buddy. And let's see. Oh, there we go. Hang on a second. This one's kind of fun. Let's see. Come on out. Come on, buddy. There we go. There he is, Julie.
You're going to lose Max.
Max.
You know, at your aunt's birthday party, that was on top of her head.
Yep. It's
Or
kind of
maybe
his
not that
favorite
one.
place. It's kind of his favorite place. And they're kind of laid back. Let's see. There you go, Max. Let's see.
He doesn't have anything to hold on to up there, Peter.
Yeah, he does. He can hold on to my skin. There he goes. Come on down,
Do
buddy.
they have little suction cup feet?
Actually, tarantulas, and I'll give you a closer look at him. Tarantulas on the end of each leg have two tiny hooks that go in and out. They're like tiny claws. They're so tiny they can actually grip my skin. So these guys, even though I don't have any hair on my head, these guys will actually just grip the skin and it will stop him falling off. Working with these guys, it's kind of neat. You know, they are venomous or poisonous, so we do have to be careful. If I scare or hurt the little guy, he may bite me. He has two big fangs he injects that venom with. Just kind of a neat little creature, he really is.
You need a few more of his friends to cover your whole head.
I love you too, Julie.
Peter, there was a question on YouTube about what do these reptiles eat? So I don't know if you can name off the ones you got.
Yeah, quickly, the ball python, they like to eat rodents. In captivity, they'll eat what they call frozen thawed. So you buy all your food frozen, thaw it out to room temperature, and then offer it to them. And they'll take that. The baby alligator, he likes to eat anything from insects to small particles of meat. And then as they get bigger, their meals just get bigger. So whatever you decide to feed the alligator, he will eat as long as it's raw meat. Let's see. Oh, the big python, Peaches. Peaches now likes to eat very large rats. And again, he does not get live ones. He'll get what they call frozen thawed, which is kind of neat. Kind of neat. Okay. I believe I've got about 5 minutes left, so I'm actually going to find another creature out. Julie, you want this guy on your head next time?
No, thank you, Peter.
Okay. All right.
Max might, but not me.
Max does. Well, if Max comes to visit us, we'll go out and we'll find a bear as well. How's that sound, Max? I understand you like bears.
As long as I'm inside, I'm fine.
No.
As long as you're inside.
The bears are actually scared of you, Max. They won't come near you. They run away as soon as they see you. They really do. Okay. Let's find
Can you believe a man who wears a spider on his head?
Yeah, kind of crazy guy. Okay, now this one is actually a milk snake. It comes from the southwestern part of North America. He's called a Pueblan milk snake. He does mimic the coral snake, which is a highly venomous one. But it's really, really simple to tell the difference, especially when they're still like this. If the red color is next to the black, it's okay, Jack. But if the red is next to the yellow, I'm a dead fellow. So if the red is next to the yellow, he's going to be venomous. If the red is next to the black, it's okay, Jack. This little guy's probably 8 years old now at least. He's doing a great job. He really is. These guys will live anywhere from 15 to 20 years in captivity. What most people don't realize, in captivity, we deal with a lot of creatures that wouldn't make it in the wild. In the wild, on average, maybe 1 in 100 snakes become adults to breed. The fatality rate of wild animals is very, very high. Living here in the Pocono Mountains of northeastern Pennsylvania, one of the things I watch every year are when the white-tailed deer have their young. They'll have their young in May time, right around May time, most of them. They usually have 2, sometimes they'll have 3. But about 3 months later, they're already down to 1 baby. So the white-tailed deer population drops in half almost immediately that they're born. People don't realize it. And one of the main predators of the white-tailed deer here in the Pocono Mountains is the black bear. They will actually find them very easily and take them out. Okay, I don't know how we're doing for time. How are we doing for time, Julie? 6 minutes. Wow, you've given me plenty of time. Any questions? Any questions?
Any questions, Max?
No questions, Max? No? Okay, I don't think I've got any more critters here. I think I went through them pretty quickly there for you guys. But going back to the business and the evolution of business, we have to always be thinking like this younger generation. The team panel you had on here earlier was incredible. I only got to listen to a part of it, but these are our future. These guys are going to shape the future of the world. And it is changing very dramatically and very quickly right now. With this whole situation of COVID, I've had to change. I now do it virtually. I do it on a computer. For me, it's very foreign. And as I said, thanks to the guidance of Julie and my wife, Sherilyn, I now feel relatively comfortable speaking to a computer screen, which for me, as I said, was very, very strange, especially the first couple I did. It was, I don't know the best way to describe it. It was very uncomfortable. That's probably the best description I can use. Very, very uncomfortable, thinking that there's people out there watching me while I'm just talking to a computer. It's come a long way. You know, I'm old enough to remember before computers, before cell phones, before all of the modern technology we have today. And when I look at the technology, I just wonder where it's going to be in 10 years, 20 years from now. It's going to be one of those things that even if I try to imagine, I'm not even going to get close to it.
Say hi to your dad.
Okay. I do believe I'm going to do a shout out, and I hope you don't mind this, Julie. I know Mum and Dad are watching in England, so I love you, Mum and Dad. Hope you guys are doing well, and hopefully I'll get to see you guys sometime later this year when everything settles down. All right.
Peter, I have a question for you too.
Yes.
I'm sorry, were you done with your shout out? I
Yeah,
didn't.
please go right ahead.
I know that there are some educators watching right now,
Yes.
and if they want to invite you to their classroom, or if a library system wants to invite you, or frankly, anybody wants to invite you, either in person or via Zoom, how do they reach out to you?
They can reach out to me through Peter at ptreptilespa.com. That's my email address. Or if you have a pen and paper handy quickly, I can certainly give you my phone number, which is area code 570-234-8410. Those are the best ways to get me, or they can get me through you, Julie. How's that?
Okay.
That's probably one of the
wonderful.
simple ways. And again, Julie, I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this great program, and congratulations on the gift program.